should sign in the January 2024 window. It's that time of the year again. The transfer window is open. We do this all the time, every single window, without fail. And we are back here today, so I'm giving my player, I'm suggesting one player who every club should sign this January. And I'll give you a reason why. Some of them are a little obvious, some of them I've tried to be a bit obscure with. Not sure how many will actually come off, but we'll see. Of course, let me know in the comments below, who do you want your club to sign this, summer January window? And let's just get straight into it. Starting with Arsenal, Ivan Toney. Now the forward line needs addressing at Arsenal. There are a few doubts over Bukayo Saka, but Gabriel Martinelli, Gabriel Jesus and Eddie Nketiah's lack of goals has been highlighted as a concern, even if the Brazilian does a lot more than just finishing chances. Unlike many other clubs, Arsenal actually boast a decent record in the January window over the past few years. Last season they acquired Leandro Trossard, Jorginho and Jakub Kiwior, and this year they really need help in that front line, and have gone for the obvious one. Toney is set for a very busy month. Not only is the Brentford striker having his betting suspension complete, he is also likely to become one of the main protagonists of the transfer rumour mill. Arsenal and Chelsea's interest in the England international has been known for some time, with the Bees boss Thomas Frank openly admitting that his star man could depart. Last season he was deadly in front of goal, only Haaland and Kane netted more. His link-up play and creativity is fantastic as well. And reports have varied, with some claiming Brentford won as much as £100 million. That might be enough to put Arsenal off, but by spending a similar amount on Declan Rice, they showed that they're not afraid to invest significantly on a single player if they're deemed to be the best option. Now some creative accounting would be required, perhaps an initial loan with an option to buy, similar deal with the David Raya one, but it's hard to argue that Toney would not be a significant upgrade on what Arteta currently has up front. It might even be the addition that gets his side over the line in the title race. Aston Villa, Timo Werner. Unai Emery says he has the backing of his owners at Aston Villa and knows where he would like to strengthen, but his problem is threefold. He cannot find what he is looking for, he doesn't have much money to play with, and he has to find someone prepared to be an understudy to Ollie Watkins. Villa have cover in almost every position bar keeper, Emi Martinez and spearhead Watkins. Injury to either would place significant question marks against their challenge in the top four. Now stories are already circulating that Villa can only work with a lone player due to FFP regulations, which cuts down their options further. Therefore, the former Chelsea forward is a great target. Although his preference is to stay at Leipzig until the summer, he is said to be dissatisfied with his situation at the club due to a lack of minutes. So a clear solution is a loan move for 6 months, where he can provide a different option to Watkins and also play on the wing if needed, and then return to Leipzig in the summer as that's where he wants to stay. It's a win-win for all parties involved. Bournemouth, Hayden Hackney. Bournemouth took a couple months to warm to the methods of their new manager, but the Cherries have really started playing some good football and achieving some positive results. Perhaps the biggest, a 3-0 win at Old Trafford. An important part of the system now is the midfield. Hayden Hackney is an extremely exciting prospect in a similar mould to Alex Scott, who currently represents Middlesbrough in the Championship. The English midfielder is destined to make the step up to the Premier League sooner rather than later, and the Cherries would be well advised to make a move early in order to avoid getting into competition with some of the league's big boys. Hackney combines his strong passing rate with some driving runs forward to make himself a huge thorn in the side of opposing sides. And many teams are keeping tabs on him. Bournemouth, if they're smart, similar to what they did with Alex Scott, snap him up now, and then hopefully he can turn into a fantastic player and they can flip him for some major profit. Brighton, Marcus Alonso. This is a fun one which I highly doubt will happen, but I would love it. Now Brighton need some depth in fullback and have struggled this season due to Estupiñán on the left being injured and from not having an adequate replacement. Enter Marcus Alonso. Alonso is very much on the fringes of Barcelona and looking for a move in January. He, as we know, is a bit of a polarising player, but on his day incredible and fantastic going forward. As a left wing back, Alonso is terrific, and Brighton tend to play with a back three a lot, so Alonso as a backup for Estupiñán and another option when they're chasing a game, chucking him on even as a left winger. I won't be shocked, as Brighton love playing players in random positions. He's also got a lot of experience, which again Brighton love, and importantly European experience, which will help their Europa League campaign. I mean, there's no way this actually happens, but it would be so fun. Burnley, Ian Martin. Ian Martin starred from left back as Burnley tore the championship apart in 22-23 under Vincent Kompany. Despite being a defender, the Dutchman showed his attacking prowess as he contributed 10 goals to the cause in the league. 6 assists and 4 goals is an impressive haul by any fullback standards, but that was unfortunately the end of his story at Turf Moor. His loan spell ended and Pochettino decided to keep the youngster at Chelsea. However, he has barely played, and Charlie Taylor is a very steady left back, but the defender struggles to have the same impact going forward as Martin previously did, and this has hampered the creativity of Kompany's team. Martin himself has been handed very limited minutes in the first half of the season and could consider leaving the club, at least on loan, to make himself a household name in the top flight. A loan deal in January looks like it could benefit all parties involved. Burnley get a player and Kompany gets a player he knows works in his system, and Chelsea can get some minutes for their player. Brentford, Danny Ings. Now, I mentioned Ivan Toney is going to Arsenal, or should go to Arsenal, so if Brentford sell Ivan Toney, they're gonna need a replacement, they're gonna need a striker. They've shown in the first half of the season that, I mean, they can't really get by with the current options they have without Ivan Toney. So if Toney leaves, a proven Premier League goalscorer in Danny Ings would be a great addition. Ings has been out of favour this year for West Ham and not really being given a chance, despite always scoring goals in the Prem wherever he goes. And he will be sure to move in January, shouldn't really cost too much, offers a clinical goal scorer who should help Brentford stay up, and even if Toney stays, Ings has played in a 2 up top, or could be a great super sub off the bench for them, so this would be a really smart addition, a bit of experience in the side for Brentford. Chelsea, Santiago Jimenez. Victor Osimhen and Ivan Toney's names have dominated the gossip columns in Chelsea's search for a new number 9, but they would likely both cost in the region of 100 million, and neither is risk-free. Although those sorts of figures are increasingly the norm, the limited success of those mind-blowing spending a year ago should lead the Blues transfer chiefs to be more cautious this time around. And that's where Jimenez comes into the picture. The Mexican has plundered 20 goals in 22 games this season for Feyenoord, and various reports suggest he would represent better value, anything between 35 to 60 million pounds. History dictates that it's a gamble to sign the Eredivisie's leading lights, but Jimenez might just represent a calculated mid-season risk worth taking. Crystal Palace, Emil Smith Rowe. Albeit a bit of a long shot, there is a world where Emil Smith Rowe exits Arsenal in January on loan in a last-gasp attempt to make it into Gareth Southgate's plans for the summer. The English midfielder has found minutes hard to come by under Arteta and is therefore surplus to requirements. Even if there is a long-term plan for Smith Rowe to play in Arsenal's future, a 6-month move to Palace could do wonders for his confidence and get him up to speed. And Palace love a little loan move, don't they? With the likes of Conor Gallagher doing great, progressing his career at Palace, Smith Rowe could have a similar impact. The 23-year-old proved how talented he is during the 21-22 season, scoring 10 goals that year. On the left wing, Smith Rowe could be great and add some more spark to the Palace side, linking up with Elise Eneze, which will really help Palace stay up. Everton, Samuel Illing Jr. Juventus starlet Samuel Illing Jr. could provide the necessary creativity to help Everton, having made just a handful of appearances since the England under-21 star moved to Italy. Illing broke into the Juventus first team last season, but opportunities have been few and far between this time round. Allegri has tried to repurpose the wide player as a midfielder in light of Paul Pogba and Nicolo Fagioli's bans. However, Illing has only made a total of 165 minutes in cameos. The 20-year-old is out of contract in 18 months and has interest from back home in England. Everton would be wise to snap him up and give him a chance. He's got huge potential and sell-on value, as well as an ability to improve the team right now and give them that creativity. Fulham, Youssef En-Nesyri. Having lost Alexander Mitrovic to Al Hilal in the summer window, Fulham need goals to replace the 14 he managed. Raul Jimenez was signed, but the Mexican is likely to only be a short-term fix, despite hitting a bit of a purple patch recently. En-Nesyri has impressed on many occasions for Sevilla, including European games against Man City and Man United, and could be a shrewd pickup. Sevilla finished rock bottom of their Champions League group, meaning the Spanish side are out of all European competitions, and the club are also floundering towards the bottom of the table in La Liga. A chance at Premier League football could be a very exciting proposition for the 26-year-old, and he would fit Fulham's style of play particularly well. Liverpool, João Palhinha. Liverpool have bounced back very well with a completely new-look midfield that has featured players like Szoboszlai, McAllister, Endo and Gravenberch. All four of these players were brought in during the summer to replace long-serving midfielders Henderson, Milner, Fabinho and Keita. Among all of the new recruits, Endo is the only natural defensive midfielder to replace Fabinho, but the former Stuttgart man has been unable to fulfill that Fabinho role truly thus far. The style of play at Anfield has switched from the heavy metal football to a more controlling and possession-based system. This has seen McAllister playing the deepest midfield role, and the Argentine has done incredibly well with the ball at his feet. Physically, however, the 2022 World Cup winner has struggled at times, and João Palhinha could be the answer to this issue, allowing McAllister to thrive going forward and offering some of the best protection possible to the Liverpool defence. The Fulham star would be combative and solid, two vital attributes in a tight title race. Luton, Fabio Carvalho. Fabio Carvalho has spent the first half of this campaign on loan at Bundesliga side RB Leipzig. Game time has been very hard to come by, however, and has resulted in Liverpool recalling Carvalho. Luton could be the perfect club to offer the youngster, who starred in Fulham's promotion push, a platform to launch his career to the next level. Ross Barkley has gone through a mini career revival at Luton as a box-to-box midfielder. Carvalho could form a strong partnership with his compatriot in Rob Edwards' side and add some much-needed creativity going forward. The aforementioned season at Fulham, Carvalho scored 10 goals and registered 8 assists. A goal-scoring threat from midfield could help Edwards in his bid to keep Luton in the Premier League. Man City Joshua Kimmich. Guardiola has tempered expectation ahead of this window, insisting he doesn't need any more players unless there are outgoings. Calvin Phillips is the most likely player to leave, but even if Phillips does not find a new club, City clearly needs some more backup in midfield, as they have become over-reliant on Rodri, losing all 4 matches he has missed this season. Guardiola was the man who transformed Kimmich's career by signing him from Leipzig, then in Germany's second division, and putting him straight into the first team at Bayern. He also turned him from a right back into a midfielder. Kimmich has continued to grow since Guardiola's departure, and a reunion could be on the cards, as the German international has followed the example of many of his fellow Bayern players and run down his contract, which expires in 18 months, decreasing the price his club can demand for him, and has also come under a lot of scrutiny by Bayern fans recently. Unlike with Phillips, there would be no question of Kimmich not fitting into Guardiola's demanding style of play. He could play in DM or as an inverting fullback very comfortably, and would be a major signing to help Man City in their title hopes. Man United Joshua Zirkzee. United have looked desperately lightweight in attack this season, and if they are to bring in players, then a striker should be their main priority. Anthony Martial's powers are fading with almost every appearance, and the Frenchman can never be relied upon, and he looks set to depart the club in the summer. The £72 million Rasmus Højlund, meanwhile, is still a work in progress, as evidenced by the fact he has only scored 1 Premier League goal. The Dane, who is 20 and playing only his second season in Europe's top 5 leagues, is too young and inexperienced to be carrying United's attacking hopes. So, a bit of a backup and an affordable striker is Bologna's Joshua Zirkzee. The Dutchman spent 4 years in Bayern's academy and made a handful of appearances for the Bavarian Giants, scoring 4 goals for them. He has grown in confidence after loan spells with Parma and Anderlecht, and is in his second campaign with Bologna, scoring 7 times this season. Bayern took out an insurance policy on him when they sold him, inserting a buyback clause into his contract. If United could sign him for around 25 million, he would be a tempting option to ease the burden on Højlund, and it is no secret that Ten Hag loves the signing with Dutch roots. Newcastle David De Gea. Nick Pope has been ruled out for a number of months, and Eddie Howe is sure to be considering a swoop into the transfer market to at least find a temporary solution. Martin Dubravka and Loris Karius are not quite of the quality Newcastle are looking for, so David De Gea is still a free agent since his departure in the summer, and can therefore be snapped up outside the window. Paying De Gea's wages shouldn't be an issue for the club, as no transfer fees will be involved. The Spanish goalkeeper kept the most clean sheets last season, and would represent a strong statement of intent for the Magpies, who look to force their way into the Champions League. At 33 years old, De Gea has plenty still to give to the game, and could even be direct competition for Pope upon his return to action. Nottingham Forest Armando Broja. It is extremely difficult to pinpoint the next signing for Nottingham Forest, with the vast number of players to have joined the club over the past 18 months or so. Nuno has multiple options in all positions on the pitch, but a new forward is likely an option after Tyrell Awoniyi's injury, even though Chris Wood has had some great games this season. Armando Broja could be a good option for them then. If Chelsea listen to me, then they will sign a new striker in January, meaning Broja will fall to third in the pecking order, and an exit seems likely. A move to Forest may be good, as he's a similar style striker to Taiwo Awoniyi, and has Premier League experience. He could have a similar impact to the likes of Elanga and Hudson-Odoi, who joined from the fringes of big clubs and have been great for Forest this season. Spurs Ben Godfrey. Godfrey has dropped down the pecking order at good Goodison part of his season, with Sean Dyche preferring the likes of James Tarkowski, Michael Keane and Bramthwaite at centre-back. He has played just one game this season against Burnley. As such, the 25-year-old has fallen completely out of England contention, having earned 2 caps at senior level and featured in the provincial squad at the Euros. Godfrey is keen to reignite his flailing top-flight career, and Everton are now willing to listen to offers for him. Spurs are clearly targeting another centre-back, as they have been hit by injuries and forced to play full-backs at centre-back. Godfrey would be a smart addition, as he's a player who has good ability and potential, and is versatile, so can fill in multiple roles if they need more depth. He shouldn't cost too much as well, because he's not playing right now. Now this might be useless if Spurs get Radu Dragson, who they've been heavily linked to, but if they don't, Godfrey would be a great alternative. Sheffield United, Sami Samodzik. The overwhelming favourites to go down, 2 wins in 19 mean they are 7 points from safety, and it would take some second half swing to avoid an immediate return to the Championship. It would also require a near miraculous January transfer window too. Sheffield United have scored the least and by far conceded the most goals this season, giving the new manager Chris Wilder multiple headaches. Now in these situations I always find buying proven Championship ballers is the best, as you prepare yourself for the worst of going down, and you then have somebody you know can do well in the league. So why not go out and get Blackburn's Sami Samodzik? He leads the scoring charts with 16 goals, and the 28-year-old seems destined for a Prem move now. Sheffield could offer that, and he could give both an instant impact to help them stay up now, but also guarantee goals if they go down. It makes perfect sense if Sheffield can convince Blackburn to sell. West Ham at Seru Girassi. West Ham have for a long time needed a proper number 9, and this year is the year they definitely need it. Mikel Antonio has done well to fill the gaps for a few seasons now, but his legs seem to have gone and he's now not playing as a striker, with Bowen playing there instead. Now Bowen, full credit to him, has done pretty well, but his best position is on the right, and West Ham need a goal-scoring striker quickly. Enter Seru Girassi. Only Harry Kane has scored more goals than Girassi in the Bundesliga this season, and he's absolutely flying for the surprise packages Stuttgart this year. Now it's kind of come out the blue, as he's never really been a clinical goal scorer, so this is a gamble. Maybe he's just running hot, or maybe he's just maturing, I don't know, but he's got a release clause of around 15 million, so I think for that price, that's a gamble I'm willing to take if I'm West Ham. And finally, Wolves, Jonathan Rowe. Last winter brought a transfer splurge to save the club from relegation, but this one is likely to be much more sedate. Pedro Neto's lengthy layoff with a hamstring injury has shown beyond doubt that Wolves lack understudies for the Portugal international. If he is missing, they do not have another direct winger who can fill in. Wolves submitted a 15 million bid to sign Rowe from Norwich in the final days of the summer window. The Canaries turned down the offer, with the 20-year-old being an essential part of their preparations for the season, but they may now go back in for him, Wolves, due to the Neto injury concerns. Before game week 23 of the Championship campaign, Rowe was the joint third top scorer in the division. The winger has endeared himself to the Carrow Road faithful with impressive displays this year, and is very young as well. The signing of Rowe would fit Wolves' transfer policy of signing a young British-based talent with a profitable sell-on value who can immediately impact the first team. However, how much Wolves would be willing to splash on his services in the new year